നാം ചർച്ച ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരുന്ന, നാം ആഗ്രഹിച്ച ചില നല്ല കാര്യങ്ങൾ 2013 സംഭവിക്കും എന്ന കാര്യത്തിൽ യാതൊരു സംശയവുമില്ല. അത്തരത്തിൽ ഒരു നല്ല വർഷമായി 2013 മാറട്ടെ. നമ്മുടെ പ്രിയങ്കരനായ നമ്മുടെ വൈസ് ചാൻസലർ, അദ്ദേഹം ഒരുപക്ഷെ ഇന്ന് ഭാരതത്തിലെ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ഓപ്പൺ ഹാർട്ട് സർജറി നടത്തുന്ന ഒരു മഹൽ വ്യക്തി നമുക്കിന്ന് കിട്ടിയത് മഹാഭാഗ്യമാണ്. അദ്ദേഹം ലോകത്തിന്റെ നെറുകയിലേക്ക് പടികൾ ചവിട്ടാൻ നമ്മുടെ ഈ കൂട്ടായ്മയുടെ പ്രചോദനം അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ഇടയാക്കട്ടെ എന്ന് മാത്രം സൂചിപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് വാക്കുകൾ അവസാനിപ്പിക്കുന്നു. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം.
നമ്മൾ ഏവരും ഇവിടെ പ്രതീക്ഷയോടെ കാത്തിരുന്ന ഏഷ്യാനെറ്റ് MD ശ്രീ മാധവൻ അവർ ഇവിടെ എത്തിച്ചേർന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. നല്ലൊരു കയ്യടിയോടെ ശ്രീ അവർ വെൽക്കം സർ, വെൽക്കം. ശ്രീ മാധവൻ അവർക്ക് ഒരു ബൊക്കെ നൽകി ആദരിക്കുവാനായി ശ്രീ SR താങ്ക് യു സർ, താങ്ക് യു. നമ്മുടെ മറ്റൊരു അതിഥി ഡോക്ടർ പ്രകാശ്, CEO ഇന്ത്യൻ ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് ഫൗണ്ടേഷൻ ഇവിടെ എത്തിച്ചേർന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിനും ഒരു ബൊക്കെ നൽകി ആദരിക്കുന്നു. താങ്ക് യു സർ. പ്രത്യേക ചടങ്ങാണ്. The ladies who are going to be felicitated, please come to the backstage. Ladies who are getting mementos, please come to the backstage. അടുത്ത പ്രോഗ്രാം ഇവിടെ കുറച്ച് സ്ത്രീ രത്നങ്ങളെ ആദരിക്കുന്നതാണ്. അടുക്കളയിൽ നിന്ന് അരങ്ങത്തേക്ക്. ഇവിടെ ഈ സ്ത്രീ രത്നങ്ങൾ നേരെ അടുക്കളയിൽ നിന്ന് ഗിന്നസ് ബുക്ക് അവാർഡിലേക്കാണ് പോയത്. ഗിന്നസ് ബുക്ക് അവാർഡ് വിന്നേഴ്സായ ഹീരാനന്ദാനി കേരളൈറ്റ് അസോസിയേഷന്റെ ലേഡീസ് വിങ്ങിലെ 14 വനിതകളെ നാം ഇന്നവിടെ മൊമെന്റോ നൽകി ആദരിക്കുന്നു. മുംബൈ പൂരത്തിന്റെ ഭാഗമായി നടന്ന 3000 പേർ പങ്കെടുത്ത കൈക്കൊട്ടിക്കളിയിൽ വളരെ ചിട്ടയോടെ 2 മാസം വീട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് പ്രാക്ടീസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് ഈ വനിതാരത്നങ്ങൾ ഗിന്നസ് ബുക്കിൽ കയറി പറ്റിയത്. ഇവരെ ആദരിക്കുന്നു ഹീരാനന്ദാനി കേരളൈറ്റ് അസോസിയേഷൻ. നല്ല കൈയടിയോടെ ഇവരെ പ്രോത്സാഹിപ്പിക്കുക. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for these ladies. Mrs. Devi Prem Kumar Nair, please come first. Krishnan. Mrs. Geeta Radha Krishnan. Mrs. Ashley Philip.
Yes, ready.
Mrs. Ashley Philip. Geeta Radha Krishnan, please. Mrs. Geeta Hariharan. Mrs. Ashley Philip, please. Mrs. Geeta Hariharan. Mrs. Rosalie Malvin. Mrs. Geeta Hariharan. Mrs. Rosalie Malvin. Miss Biji Babu. Miss Biji Babu.
Yes, ready.
Mrs. Anida Sajivan. Mrs. Anida Sajivan, please. Mrs. Julia Paul. Mrs. Shairaja Sugadan. Mrs. Shairaja Sugadan. Mrs. Indu Sujesh. Mrs. Pushpa Rawat. Mrs. Indu Sujesh, please. Mrs. Indu Sujesh. Mrs. Pushpa Rawat. Mrs. Seena Suresh. Mrs. Seena Suresh. and Ms. Rashmi Ramakrishnan. Suresh and Ms. Rashmi Ramakrishnan. ഫെലിസിറ്റേഷൻ ചടങ്ങ് മീറ്റിംഗിന്റെ മധ്യത്തിൽ നടത്തിയത് തന്നെ നിങ്ങളെ ആദരിക്കുവാനാണ്, അഭിനന്ദിക്കുവാനാണ്. കൺഗ്രാജുലേഷൻ ലേഡീസ് വൺസ് അഗൈൻ. അടുത്തതായി ഇവിടെ എത്തിച്ചേർന്നിട്ടുള്ള വിശിഷ്ട അതിഥികൾ നമ്മോട് സംസാരിക്കുന്നതായിരിക്കും.
Mr. Raju Abraham, the chief guest of the day, President of the association, Mr. Pillai and Dr. Ephraim, all my friends who are here in the 2013, we hope it will be a very meaningful and a relevant and an enjoyable and prosperous new year. We are grateful that associations like Kerala, Hiranandani Kerala Association has got the time to come together in fellowship as well as to do community outreach programs. They also encourage cultural and other activities. So it is gratefully acknowledged that the Malayalis who are here in this area have found the time to come together for the last 9 years to do a lot of activities. You know, I would have liked to speak in Malayalam, but that'll take a lot of time, so I would like to speak in English. You know, communication is an important thing. You know, the more we communicate, the better. That our MLA made a big speech, and he was talking about many of the issues and things which make Keralites and Kerala proud. And the contribution that people from the small state in the southern part of India has made all over the world is laudable. And we are grateful for the leadership that our people are showing. The industry doyens and many business people are already here. You know, I was reminded of Lee Iacocca, the chairman of the largest corporation in the world, one of the Chrysler Corporation, was talking about the leadership qualities. You know, he talked about the 9 C's of leadership. We are all leaders in our own profession. He talked about competence, he talked about charisma, he talked about courage, compassion, character, and one of the things he talked was communication. A leader is someone who communicates well. You know, many times language is a problem. You know, this lady who was dancing asked us how many of us know Marathi. Most of us can understand, of course, and nobody was responding to that. So the Japanese Prime Minister was trying to meet the US President, Clinton. So, you know, Japanese are very poor in English. So he was told, you must say this, and the President will say this, and then the interpreters will take over. So when he was told, when the Japanese Prime Minister was told, when you meet President Clinton, you will say, how are you? So President will say, fine, and you say, me too. And then the interpreter will take over. So when the Japanese Prime Minister went to the White House, you know, seeing the Marines and the whole the get-up of the White House, he was a little nervous. Instead of asking, how are you, he said, who are you? So, you know, President coming to the world's biggest, strongest president coming to my office and asking me who I am. So President Clinton thought I will play up a little bit, and he said, I am Hillary's husband. So the Japanese Prime Minister said, me too. So if you say the wrong things at the wrong time, you know, it doesn't communicate. But saying the right thing at the right time is very important. Swami Vivekananda's centenary celebrations are on now. Swami Vivekananda said that the least of the people who are in the country and the state they are in can be blamed on the people who have had the maximum education and wealth at their cost. What Swami was telling was that we need to be mindful of people who are less fortunate than us, and many of us are doing the same thing. Mr. Nambiar was with us yesterday in our D.Y. Patil Hospital. We wanted to thank the World Malayalis Council for supporting almost 60 heart surgery patients out of the 97 they did all over India, and we did 60 of those. These were people from Nagpur, Nasik, here, there, you know, very, very meager, poor people who would not even have the money to go back home. But they supported it from 1 lakh, 1.5, 75,000 and larger. That was a gesture, and we called some of those patients, and they were there. And many of them were thanking the World Malayali Council, and most of them cried for the gesture that, this is small gestures that we do, and we need to continue to do that. I was in Delhi for 16 years doing heart surgery. Now, for the last 5 years here, I have operated more Malayalis in Bombay than in Delhi. There's a little worry here because cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, hypertension, and all going to be very large amount in India. We in India are the diabetic capital of the world. Per capita, we have got largest number of diabetics. And if you look at India, Kerala is the diabetic capital of India because our people are not very mindful of the lifestyle diseases. I hope we will take care control of our blood pressures, take care of your diabetes, do some walking, stop smoking, and control our body weights. Little worry is like that beef fry that everybody has every day, and people use all of that oily food, and also the fish curry that we have, the red fish curry with the 1 ton of salt in all the curries that we make. These are all bad things, so which contributes to hypertension, etc. Little being mindful of these lifestyle diseases is a good thing for Keralites. And as our honorable MLA said, that we have achieved a lot in our other spheres, but looking after ourselves, we need a little more care probably. Also setting up an example for our next generation that we'll be able to do much more for people to come. It's a matter of faith that we act on. What is faith? Because of the faith that we have in ourselves, the confidence that we have in ourselves, the ability that we have in ourselves is what moves us. But many times faith in God or faith in our this thing doesn't get in practical terms. When it comes to the crux, do we do what we believe in or do we support what we believe in? One young girl went to the mother and asked, "Mummy, so many people in this world, where have they all come from?" So Mummy said, in the Bible it says, story of creation, Adam and Eve, Abraham and all were created and a lot of people inhabited the earth. 2 weeks later, she went to her father who is an anthropology professor in the college. So he said, "Daddy, this population, how did they all start?" So he said, "There's this, the theory of evolution, man evolved from monkeys and apes and all that." So she went back and asked her mother, "Mummy, you are talking about Adam and Eve, Daddy is talking about monkeys and apes." So the mother said, "You see, it's a question of what you believe in. It is, I was talking about my family and he was talking about his family." So the crux of the matter is what we believe and we act. We like to congratulate the Kerala Association, Harinandani Association. First of all, coming together, the collegiality, the fraternity and the cooperation that you receive by the fellowship that is for this evening. The food is arranged, the programs are arranged, what a good music I could see, and the cultural program and felicitating people, congratulate them. Because coming together, we remain much more stronger than being alone. And also the community activities and the possibilities that we can have. I was talking to Mr. Benjamin, the Additional Chief Secretary, we were inviting for one of the functions. Some of our people have reached good levels. They have at the level of influence, our Honorable Governor and many others who are able to do a lot more. But each one of us are leader in our own spheres and we have a lot to do. And I hope we'll be mindful of this in the coming year, and we wish you all the best that our presence and our being here in Bombay would make a lot of difference to the people around us. Thank you for inviting me here this evening and thank you for that.
അടുത്തതായി നമ്മോട് സംസാരിക്കുന്നു ശ്രീ KK നമ്പ്യാർ.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to Kerala, Hiranandani Kerala Association calling me over here. I would like to mention about my World Malayali Council who has conducted about 97 operations. And specifically, I would like to mention, I am only taking about 2 minutes. I would like to mention about 2-3 people who has unconditionally given support for our operation. One, Mr. Thambi of Ria Travels, who is sitting in front of you this day. He, after giving a huge amount, when I met him after about 4 or 5 months, he told me that don't stop this. Whenever you require money, come to me. I will help you. That is the word given by Mr. Thambi, but we have not gone a second time to him. Mr. S.G. Naya, he told me, if your target is not going to be completed with whatever fund you are having, come to me, I will be giving whatever fund you want. Madhavan Asianet, he promised me unconditionally, he is calling me Unniyata, please come to me, that money will be given. and he has latest conducted an operation in Baby Memorial, Calicut. Totally means even after contributing a big money, he again given me one free operation in Baby